Welcome back. This is Joe Blasco again here with Greg Cannom. Greg, you've mentioned a few names. I'd like you to tell us a little more about these people, people you've worked with, that have worked for you and with you. Wes Wofford.
Yes, Wes Wofford. He's a great makeup artist. He, like I said, worked with me on films. He did all of Bicentennial Man with me. He did the Jackie Gleason story.
Yes.
He applied all of that. I've worked with him for so many years, and he was so easy to work with, and we worked together so well.
Yeah. Are you continuing to work with Wes?
No, he moved back east
he did?
with his family to raise his family back there, and he's doing projects back there and more art. He's doing more art in there.
I see. I see.
But I will work with him again one day.
Yep. And Glenn Hans.
Glenn Hans.
Glenn Hans.
Sculptor, absolutely brilliant. He sculpted the Dracula stuff, the bat creature, the wolf creature with me. He did
that bat creature, amazing.
The bat creature, he did the whole body in a week.
That was 12 feet tall, wasn't it?
No, it was Gary's size. It was
Gary's size?
Yeah.
Where did I get the notion that it was 12 feet tall?
Well, it looks that.
It looks 12 feet tall. But weren't there leg extensions that were used to some effect?
No, he stood on his tippy toe.
Oh, I see.
They were sculpted to stand that way.
I see. It was the angle of the camera angle.
Yeah, no, it looked
It was amazing.
Bigger. But he sculpted that. I sculpted the face. He sculpted it with me. We both sculpted the face.
Did you work with a medical doctor? Let's go back to Hannibal. Did you work with a medical doctor on Hannibal?
A little bit. We talked to him. The director would have him come in and we'd talk about what was possible and wasn't. But that one day in Venice, and one day I sculpted the face. And then I gave it to Glenn, and he sculpted it one day. He had one day to work on it and do his great work. Then we showed it to Ridley Scott, and Ridley, that's it.
Yeah. He's amazing, Ridley Scott.
And that was it. And then we flew back, and the only thing I added to it was I thought, it's just too boring here. So I took the jaw and offset it, and then took a big slab of skin from here and slapped it on there. So there was a big piece of gnarly skin, but I broke, like the jaw was,
amazing.
set. And it was, that's the weird thing about makeup. You can work for months on something, and then in one day, something works.
Yeah, it all comes together.
Yeah, it's so
it becomes
amazing.
soup. You're right. Let's talk about products. You're developing new products for work with appliances. Do you or did you develop your own age stipple?
No, I always used Dick Smith's. I used his formulas for years, and then Matthew came out with his formulas.
Yes, Matthew
Mungle's Ager stipples, and I really love them, and I use them now. Sometimes I'll use Dick Smith's because Matthew's are harder to get off. Sometimes I'll use Dick's formula because it's very easy to get off the eyelids sometimes, depending on who it is, like Gloria Stewart in Titanic.
Yes.
I had to put 3 tubes of Duo into a weak solution because it just really bonded to her face and held on. And so I've used...
So you mixed the Duo with the aging stipple, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
I see.
Yes, because some people, older people, it can really grab on it. It would take me 45 minutes to
just
get it
to
off.
remove it.
It just stuck. But the thing about Matthews I like is like on Gloria's neck, I put 4 coats of stipple.
Yes.
And it would you put more than 4 coats, or it starts looking shiny.
Yes.
And I have to go in with a bunch of anti-shine. The great thing about Matthews, which I really like, is I go in and do 6 layers on people, and it doesn't look shiny.
Yes, excellent.
So
and I would think that if it does have more adherence and is more difficult to remove in some cases, depending upon how the skin is prepped and what you're applying it to, I would think that it would work very well over areas where you have a lot of flexibility and mobility, especially on the neck. Especially on the neck.
Much better. So I use it, like I said, once in a while.
Yes.
There's some people it's really hard to get off an eyelid, so I'll do a lighter version.
Green marble sealer is actually somewhat formulated similar to the sealers, the early day sealers, which is a plastic form film forming materials. And occasionally, I can recall back when I worked with Ben Nye Sr., I was apprenticing with him at his shop on Santa Monica Boulevard in Los Angeles, and he was telling me about his work on a film called The Flim Flam Man with George C. Scott. And they were shooting in high humidity in Georgia, I believe. And Ben used a formula very similar to the, if not identical, to the green marble sealer. And do you find that have you used green marble sealer in any of your aging makeups?
I just remember on the Insider I tried it a bit, and in the humidity it didn't seem to work.
Didn't hold as well?
But I did very little testing with it, and on my skim it was a little too hard. So what I do is I found that using like 50-50 of Prosaid 2 and water, and putting that on the skin first, and then the stipple.
And then the stipple, I see. Very good. Excellent. We're going to be right back with more with Greg Cannom, so don't you go away.